What's up, WBB Women's Body Breakthrough? So, this is BP here, Brian coming to you. I had got prompted earlier in the week about motivation. Why do like these athletes, these people that you see, throughout our society, whether it's fitness related, but even beyond that, or in like business, having crazy success in business, or they are able to maintain this steady drumbeat according to what their life goals are and be almost seemingly motivated all the time. And how do you do that? How do you come about that? And that's something that someone had asked me to kind of cover today. So I would like to go into some things on motivation about why, what it is, why, how to do it, how to maintain it. And so we'll be talking about this. And what the motivation is ultimately is your deep down inner desire to overcome and achieve the goal that you set. And it always starts with your why. I'm always going to start right there. It's one of the things that I always get very to the point on with my clients is what is your why, what is your vision for yourself, and deeply identify with that so that we know we have some leverage. I get leverage on them on why it is that we're even doing this together. What is so important about your health, your weight loss, improving your nutrition, gaining better energy. What is so important there? So obstacles are those frightening things that you see when you take your eyes off the goal. And that's where, if you're not focused in on that one reason why and you get distracted, that's when motivation wanes. That's when things come up. And so one of the biggest goals, obstacles and challenges in meeting any of the goals, whether it be related to, weight loss, better nutrition, gaining better energy, gaining better visualization, being more productive, getting up earlier, changing a habit and sticking to it, improving your exercise, or just becoming happier. And it's all about trying to find the motivation to stick with it. And that's what I'm going to help kind of throw some tips, strategies, key things that you can identify with and start moving forward with right now. So if you can stick with a goal long enough, chances are you're going to be able to reach that and achieve it. All right. I have been, in my life, I've had plenty of goals, plenty of challenges that I've had to overcome. And I think I posted in the group a couple days ago is that your body and the desire to, not even desire, but your body and living in a body that you feel really excited about and you're really happy and proud of is an external view of all the challenges that you're able to put up with and conquer. And what I mean by that is, life is going to throw you all sorts of curveballs. Time is crunched. There's so many demands. We're always busy. We're overscheduled, and all these things stack up in your life. And it's your capacity to overcome all of those different obstacles to then be able to reap the rewards that is so important to you. All right. So I have had plenty of obstacles that I've thrown at myself physically. I've done, multiple marathons. I've done a 50-mile race. I've done all sorts of different everything. What's up, Angie? And, what I want to do is kind of also take it off me. I've done a couple cool things, but I've also struggled with it and different other things, like, say, some business stuff. I've had a couple business ventures of running a gym, but ultimately it didn't take off with the intention that I wanted it to. It wasn't that I wasn't necessarily unmotivated, but the environment that I placed myself in did not breed a motivational spirit, and ultimately it ended up dwindling. And that's what I see a lot oftentimes in clients when I bring them on, is that their external environment that they're living in does not support in any fashion what their desires are for themselves. And that becomes a huge problem. All right. So here's the one thing that we do know before we dive into some more stuff is the longer you stick with it, the more apt and likely you're going to do it. So it's perseverance, it's patience, it's getting out of this mindset that In 30 days, you're supposed to lose 30 pounds. It's about getting out of the mindset of we need to abandon a whole food group to then be able to lose weight. It's a bit silly when you think about it in the big picture. So patience and sticking to it will help breed that motivation. So it's not always going to be easy. We know this day in, day out, and we know that it's like a roller coaster sometimes. But the point is to make sure that when we have those highs, we're going full charge, and when we have those lows, we're trying to wade through it and get back to those highs. And that goes a lot with mindset, that goes a lot with thinking about and visualizing your success and living in that success forward. And that's something I have to do every single day, is visualize the success that I want for myself in the areas of my life that I'm focusing on. And then I will be able to get one day closer to that, knowing that at some point it's going to break. For me, physically, I work out most days of the week. I recruit a friend to come over, and I know that I'm going to get the best out of my workouts then when I have a buddy, a partner to do the work with. And if I don't, then I'm out in my backyard by myself. I got a barn in my backyard where it's kind of like my man cave or whatever. And so, but the chances are, like, I'm not going to work out if I'm by myself. I might try and squeeze in a run, but right now I've got some pretty good heel pain going on, and so any running really flares that up. So that's something I have to work on right now as well. And I know that I'm likely not to exercise if I'm on my own accord. So I do different things to be able to make sure that I set myself up for success. So bringing a buddy along, if I am working out by myself, it's going to be short and sweet and very to the point, so I'm not wasting any time around that, because too much time, let's say over 45 minutes even, then my mind starts wandering about what are the things I need to do with my business, with this group, with my family. Of course, I have 4 kids. It's a family of 6, so we've got a lot going on there as well. Here's a couple things that motivation can achieve for you. It can simplify your life. If the less distraction that you have in your life, the more motivated you can become, because you don't, just like the very opening quote was from Henry Ford about obstacles. Obstacles are those frightening things that you see when you take your eyes off the prize, and the more distraction you have in your life, the less focus you're going to be able to be on that. Staying organized, plan, prepare, and act. That's a very strong the PPA, some of my clients call it, but PPA is plan, prepare, act, is a way to stay super organized. So if we know that we plan out and we have things prepared, it's easy to act. But if you miss out on the planning, the preparing is rather tough and you don't act. Or you miss out on preparing, you plan it out but you don't prepare, then acting is challenging. But if you plan, you prepare, and you forget to act, then that ends up being on you, because you made the first 2 hard ones and gotten through those, but that third one, that acting, is where it is at, and you have to act, especially if you set yourself up for success. So like, say, scheduling the workout after work, you have to drive to the gym. You can't drive away, you can't drive home, because we all know that's a death sentence for your workout. We know as soon as you get home, the life is going to take care of you, and you're going to be having to do all sorts of whatever else life throws in your way. And hold this a little bit better. Hopefully that's better. Being more productive. So the simpler your life is, the less distractions you have in, the more organized you are. You allow yourself the opportunity to actually be productive and have success, the success that you're looking for, such as eating better or getting that exercise in. Those are going to be the 2 things that we see time and again pop up in this group is, man, I really struggle with nutrition and eating what I know I should be eating, or doing the things that I know I should be doing, not drinking the calories, not eating the empty calories, sticking with it. And then the second one is the exercise, having the motivation to do it. And there's a thing that we can do called priming. And a priming is a way to set yourself up for success. And we'll talk about that later as well. So what we got, but what if I work out at home? And then Angie says she goes to the gym to help her be accountable. We'll cover the workout, Andrea. I work out at home. I don't go to a gym. I've got a little space from all my gym ventures. I've collected a bunch of equipment, and I was just kind of sharing some of that stuff. But the priming factor goes into that, and some of these other key things will allow you to do that. So hopefully I'll be able to cover some of this for you as well today. And being ready to go with your exercise with a purpose. So the priming, let's kind of throw that out there. The coaching conference that I participated in about 2-3 weeks ago, I did a lot of Facebook Lives and I shared them in the group. So if you want to go back, there's a ton of different things that I talked about, from how our neurotransmitters are connected to different thoughts and emotions. Like courage is signals by serotonin, and dopamine signals commitment, and these things are triggered by endorphins, which are released by exercise, which we all know that as soon as you start exercising, you naturally feel better. You always are happy that you finished the workout, that you showed up, you did the workout, you got through it, because you always feel better. Movement is energy, and that they get that as neurotransmitters release, the endorphins release, and the body gets going. But the other thing that was so cool from the coaching conference was that I attended one about when facts aren't facts. And what this was talking about was 4 different things that happen, and I dive into some of these deeper with some of my clients, but one of them was priming the situation. So the presenter opened up with this as the first example, and he talked about how cold the hotel room was. It was freezing. It was the coldest hotel room he's ever been in. And he was wearing his clothes. It felt like he had to have 2 comforters on. And so he told the story. And the next slide, as he transitioned to the next slide, it had a 4-letter word. It had C. The middle 2 letters were blanked out, so COO, and then the last letter was D. So naturally, the whole room, all like 35-40 of us, said cold. He was like, "What is this word?" And we filled in the blank with cold. So this was a prime example of getting cued to be led a certain way. And this is like your brain talking to you at different points about being motivated. When you can prime yourself to go to the gym either way, after work. We use that probably most people, when most people work out is after work, because life is busy in the morning. You got kids, you got, I don't work out before 9 or 10. I usually hit the workouts around 11 or 12 most days. So like, say we're going to go to our workout after work, and what this looks like is you get out of work. You have a choice to leave work with excitement that you're done and you're ready to get on with the rest of the day, or you can choose to leave work weighed down and with less energy and just like, thank God I'm done with this, and charge home. And so you get in your car, and again, you have another choice of where your destination is going to be. So say you have 2 main options, the gym or the home, okay? So your path in the direction in which you leave that parking lot opens you up to what's more likely going to happen. So if you are excited about what's happening, you're done with the day, you get a fresh breath of air. When you get out of the building, you get some tunes going on that give some energy and create some movement for you. You get a little dance in the car, and then you're going to the gym because you've scheduled it out, and you're going to keep that commitment for yourself, then the opportunity to get to the gym is going to be so much more than not. Okay, if you get into the car with a bad mood, it's not sunny enough out, the air is not fresh enough, you're grumpy from this, that, or the other that happened, and you're carrying that with you, then guess what's going to happen? Likely you're going to find yourself not going to that workout to stress relief or just, improve yourself. So, all right. Let's get back on some of my notes and things that I want to talk about. So that's priming. So you can literally prime yourself to have the success that you want or to experience failure in the things that you're doing. So what drives you toward a goal is motivation, and what keeps you going when things get tough, all right? And motivation, or like what things can keep you going when it gets tough. Motivation is spurred by two different things. We have positive and we have negative. So positive is, of course, like moving toward something or moving away from. So moving toward like a heaven, an excitement, a thing that you are really excited to do, or moving away from like a hell or a pain, or not seeking out pleasure at all. So seeking out pleasure and excitement is things like fitting into a dress, having more energy in your day, having a better attitude about the things that are doing in your life, getting back to your ideal weight and feeling comfortable with where you are. As far as the negative approach and getting away from the negative, so this is things that could get you motivated to start taking action, would be like, say, bad genetics. People in your family are not doing well. They just aren't doing very well with their health. There's multiple diseases that are showing up. There is people who die early. Health just is not something that your family carries with you. So this would be, wow, I definitely don't want diabetes. I have like 3 relatives that have that. I do not want that, so I need to get moving. Or another one would be somebody called you out and they said something that was unkind and not very nice at all, and that could create some motivation for you as well. It's like, I'm going to prove them wrong. But here's or pressure from a doctor. You go into a doctor's office and he gives you that hard line talk about, this is the last time that you need to be going about. If you show up here again overweight, like, I really can't help you. You have got this, that, and the other that you're lining yourself up for to have potentially in the next couple years, like diabetes, heart disease, and the things that are going to go with that. And then last up is like moving away from death. If I remember in my old days when I owned a gym, there's a gentleman, his name was Ron. He ended up losing 100 pounds working with us at the gym and getting moving because he was 48. His family, there's multiple people that had passed away in their 50s. So he was knocking on that door, that age, that he was scared. He was really worried about, what would happen in the next couple of years. If he continued on that path where he was, things were not going to go well for him. So he showed up to gym, was consistent in his life change. He lost 100 pounds. It was amazing to see the transformation that Ron had. And it was just one of many stories that I have and can share with you about that. But here's one of the things. We have two that we can move toward pleasure, like getting into that dress or accomplishing this big goal, or moving away from like the pain, the bad genes, the disease. But here's one thing we do know is that always moving toward the positive is going to encourage you to be able to stick with it longer. So if you have positive outcomes that you're seeking, and you're looking for pleasure, you're always going to be a little bit more motivated around it. You're going to have more passion about it, you're going to have more excitement around it, and you're going to want to live it and be it. Okay? And that's the kind that moves best. All right? So here is how a couple ways that you're able to get started working toward the goal and start building up that motivation. It is most certainly a muscle most certainly a muscle that needs exercise, that needs, pumped up. I always joke about my bicep. There it is. I've been working on it. It's still small. If you've ever seen any past videos of me, I always joke about it. So that is something that motivation is. It's a muscle that you can work time and again and start to have success and strengthen that motivation muscle. And we're going to go through a number of different ways that you can use to gain this unstoppable motivation. You see some of maybe your favorite role models or these Olympians, or say even like the soccer that's happening right now in the World Cup. Like these people are like crazy motivated and so much determination to reach a goal. So we want to start small initially, all right? We don't want to chew off a big chunk. I saw something earlier in the group about doing like a 12-week plan instead of like the 12-month plan, right? I need to lose X amount of weight in this 12 months this year. What we want to do is focus on doing small bite-sized portions so that we continually meet that next expectation that we need. That's one of the main things that I always do when I'm working with my clients is, here's where we're at today. Here's when we're going to see each other, talk to each other next. What is it that you need to be committing to in that amount of time so that you can have the success that you're looking for. Right now I'm getting a bunch of updates from food logs and different things that people are sending me in because they've sought out some help and they're getting support and they're getting some coaching around their nutrition, their exercise, and all these things to get a better, healthier life that they are excited about. So I keep having to swipe those away on my phone as I talk about this. So we start small. Then we have one specific goal outcome. Not like 18, we want one very specific thing that we need to be focusing on. Because when you can focus on one thing then and start mastering that one thing, then it becomes a lot easier. Another key aspect of my coaching when working with people is we start with two habits and lifestyle changes that we absolutely need to master this first week. And then we move on to two more, and then we move on to two more, and we move on to two more over a 12-week time, which just happens to be the length of what my initial program is with people with the Women's Body Breakthrough, is getting them to conquer over 20 different lifestyle habits that were big obstacles for them and that actually make a big difference. So we start with small chunks with one goal focus, and then we can start going from there as things get bigger and better. We need to examine your motivation and know your reasons why. So understanding someone's on here now, and she noted that she is a badass, that she is someone that is a leader, that she has unlimited confidence, and that she is going to be stepping up into a huge version of herself when she shows up at her training in August. There's a lot on the line. She's going to be leading 10 other soldiers in her troop that she's going to be leading, and so we really asked her to spend a lot of time understanding what her reasons why. And as we've evolved, we've again added more and more things to her plate, but she's been able to handle it and move forward. And I've been really excited to work with her and see what's transpired and what she's using her time to do, which is really cool too, because we were doing, we'll just say it, she was Netflix and chill. And I was like, you know what? That's probably not the best use of your time right now when you're going into this, very leadership role, and you need to show your stuff and know that stuff as well, so that you can step up and motivate these people and take true leadership, especially right from the get-go. Because if you don't get it from the get-go, then guess what? It's going to be very challenging to be able to maintain or even regain control of those people, and you got to get that trust right off the bat. So this is giving some very intentional thought around knowing your reasons why and why you really, really want it right now. Another key thing that you need to be doing is commit publicly with supportive people. getting around like-minded people. And that's another one of the key things with the Women's Body Breakthrough Group, is that it's a group of women that are going through the same thing. It's very similar to this, but these women are taking action. These women have leveled up. They've completely committed themselves to the outcome and the desires that they want. And they know it. They've written it down. They spend a lot of time visualizing it. They've spent a lot of time building that motivation muscle to then get the outcomes that they want. They're focusing on one or two important things each and every week to then master what the outcome is that they want. Typically weight loss, better control over their nutrition, better understanding of their nutrition. So we commit publicly and specifically around supportive people. Don't throw yourself out there to people that aren't going to support you, because they don't care. They're not going to understand where you're coming from, and they're not going to give you the support or understanding around what it is that you are looking for yourself. All right, and what you need to do to then get even farther along. Then we need to get excited and build upon this, okay? So again, getting around like-minded people, talking to your spouse, reading as much as you can on these different topics so that you get fully immersed and ingrained into the situation, the environment, the things that you need to do. Again, going back to this lady, she's a newly commissioned second lieutenant in the military, and she needs to get so totally into everything that she is going to be doing here in the next few weeks. And so she needs to be reading and consuming as much as she can, and that's going to help her motivation level even further. If you're spending your time researching, listening to, educating yourself around exercise, nutrition, and actually doing it, then that motivation muscle is going to be strong, rather than if you're spending time around unimportant things like binge watching your favorite TV show. Like, unfortunately, there's just no time for that in life. If you want to live a life that is full of great standards, Dana was one of my favorite client stories. I actually interviewed her in the group, and it's up in the course description or something. But the biggest thing with Dana, her standards of living went through the roof. So there wasn't any room for any of this stuff. And you might be thinking, like, what are you talking about? Like, can't I chill and relax and all these things? Like, sure you can, but there's definitely a point at which it is, diminished returns, right? If you're spending hours of your day doing stuff that is kind of unproductive to your bottom line, then chances are it's very, I just forgot what the word was, you're not getting the returns on what it is that you want, okay? So the other thing is building anticipation, building up your anticipation around this thing, having exciting checkpoints and markers around this goal that you have, and that's going to create motivation too. One of the key things that I absolutely love in my life is that I'm always anticipating and excited about something that's coming next. Like what, it's 11:16 right now, my time. After this, I have to go like crazy fast to pack my bags to get out on a 10-day road trip. So I'm going to be out and about, going from Ohio through Michigan to the Upper Peninsula, Wisconsin, Minnesota, back through Chicago. It's going to be fantastic. Just before this, we had my wife's birthday, and we went to Columbus, Ohio, and then we had a party for her. Prior to that, we had some events that we took our kids to, like an overnight trip. And there's just, in my life, there's just always these markers of excitement. After we get off of this 10-day trip, I've got a 3-day trip to Seattle with my wife to celebrate our anniversary and our time together. This is actually the first year, my 35th year is my wife and I have been together longer than we've been apart, which is just wild to think. I've known her since I was 11, and we were high school sweethearts, and we have 4 kids together. It's just we were band geeks, silly story, but we've spent more time together than we've had apart at age 35, which is just so awesome. Here we go too. Angie says, point this out here real quick. I've gotten to the point that if I don't work out, I don't sleep well. You want to be physically exhausted at the end of the day so you can rest and recover and get back to it. So there we go. Thank you for that, Angie. Let's get back to building anticipation. What's one thing that's so exciting about my life and something that I really want my clients to do? We have the past, we have the present, and then we have the future. These are key points that I coach on as well. The past is things that we should be learning from. Bring along the exciting memories. Carry those with you. Cherish those. The events that weren't so good, let's learn from them. Let's not repeat them. In the present, right now is the only time that we have. Is right now. You're watching this with me, and this is our time right now. We live in the present. You should be excited about what's in front of you, what's happening in your world, and what you are doing to actively engage in getting this better. Then we have the future. The future is something you should be looking forward to, and this is that anticipation I was talking about. You should be excited about what's coming, and if you're not, then you're doing life wrong. Like, just flat out, you're doing it wrong. All right, like if you're not excited about what's coming up here in the next week, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, like you have the decision to change that right now. So here we go. Angie says she's known her husband as long as that I've been alive. That's funny. I'm young, but not like 20. And so. Plenty of experience, though. Then another thing, so we'll get back to the motivation, is print it out and post it up. This is where, motivational quotes come into play. You're writing down your reasons why, and thoroughly having those out in front of you is ways to get and keep you motivated. Now, here are ways if you are struggling with motivation. Without these, this is when you crumble under the weight of losing your motivation, your momentum that you've built up for weeks or months or even years. You've done so, you've lost the weight, you've kept it off for years, and all of a sudden you're slipping. And these are critical ways to make sure that you can maintain that motivation regardless of the highs or the lows. You just keep it going, especially the lows. Now, so we have holding yourself back. Another key thing that I would challenge you, and I challenge all my clients, is that can I work out tomorrow? Everyone gets so excited about getting started, then they overdo it, and then the next thing you know is they crash, and that is not productive for them. So holding yourself back. Can I work out tomorrow? Can I make sure that I can move? Because if you get so sore for multiple days, then guess what? You're not going to be excited. You're going to be sore in any of this stuff. Excellent, Angie. She's got some exciting things coming up inside for her coach. She's a coach that I met during the coaching conference, and so it sounds like fantastic. Big goals. She'll be on a plane. All right. Keep getting all these things popping up, all sorts of different stuff happening here. All right, so we've got holding yourself back. Just get started in the exercise. Just get to the gym. Just take the first couple of steps, because as soon as you do that, it's like breaking the seal. Then you're good to go, and that it can't. Again, go back to those earlier on in the talk, was the emotion around the energy that you get from exercise. So make sure that you just get started. Make sure you squash the negativity around you quickly and fiercely with plenty of veracity, and get that stuff out of here, because you need to be in a very strong positive mindset. And if you're not used to doing that, which I know a lot of women aren't, unfortunately I talk to so many, and they just spend a lot of time in the negativity, and it's something I call the second job, and something I'm going to speak more about later. But what the second job is you are spending so much time in your life dealing with negative thoughts, negative emotions, negative behavior patterns, and it is costing you so much time you just don't even understand. So we'll get out of that. We'll go into thinking about the benefits. What are the benefits that you want to receive? And if you can, goes into the visualization, the benefits of fitting into that dress, fitting into those clothing that you haven't worn for a long time, getting back into the wardrobe that you absolutely love and you really want to fit and you feel confident in it. Confidence in itself, that's a big one too. Not only do you want the body, but you want the confidence go with it. So we think about the confidence. Here's a strong one coming up. If you are struggling, this is the next level up for affirmations. Affirmations are like saying things that make you feel good. I look good, I feel good, and doggone it, people like me. If you want to go to the Stuart Smiley Saturday Night Live skit. But what an incantation is, it takes it to another level. There's a lot more energy. There's a lot more movement. There's a lot more oomph behind that. And so an incantation can be a very strong, powerful affirmation that's paired up with movement. And the movement helps anchor in the energy that you're creating around this. So I wish I should have put up an example. Maybe I'll put one down below in the actual comments below, a powerful incantation for you, and that you say with your heart, your deep meaning, lots of movement, loud, and get oomph behind it. Now, another thing is when you're struggling, knowing when or where, how, when you failed in the past or stopped doing whatever it was in the past, and being very aware of that specific time allows you to then be aware of it and focus on not going there. Okay, focus on doing everything else in your power that you can do to not go there. Because if you go there, then chances are you're gonna quit. So maybe going there is the scale. I've seen past clients, we've had to work through this a lot. We've had to throw the scale out. We've just had to abolish the scale, because Monday morning they get up, they go to the bathroom, they step on the scale, and it ruins the next 48 hours. Just through Wednesday night, they finally get recovered from what they saw on the scale. And it's just completely emotionally wrecked them. And that is a huge way to lose motivation and lose that struggle. So you have to be aware of where the urges are to quit and what needs to happen around that stuff. Then read about what it is that you want. Again, diving into available podcasts, available books, available audio, available reading articles, and surrounding yourself, getting into a group kind of like this around other people that are similar minded, want to achieve a certain outcome. And that's where it is. Then read inspiring stories. I've done 5 interviews of women that have claimed back their identity. They've dropped a great amount of weight. They are feeling really good about themselves. They understand nutrition on 18 different more levels than they ever have. And this is access to you. Go watch them. They're in the group description. There's 5 of them. I've got plenty more on deck. I just have been actually too busy serving people to record some more and interview some more women that have had great success. So when you see success stories and you can then identify to their stories and latch on and see how they did it, then you can then break through that. A couple of these are the last ones I want to kind of point out are some of the very strong things that I coach in my Women's Body Breakthrough group, which is one, remembering your why, staying accountable, getting around like-minded people, charting and tracking your progress, always celebrating your successes and staying in a very positive mindset, and using visualization to help you overcome these things. Those last couple are very strong points that I consistently bring up with my clients, and how they do it, how we do it to make them move past and blow up a lack of motivation, and they have very strong commitment around doing these practices every single day, to sometimes even twice a day, to stay in that very strong empowered state. Again, wrapping this up tonight, motivation is a muscle that you have complete control over. It's If you struggle with being motivated, chances are it's been atrophied. You let any and everything else run your life, run your schedule, and you don't stand true to what it is that you want for yourself. And so I'm here to say that this is a muscle that you can work on. This is something you can improve. This is something with some of these strategies and such that I talked about the last, I don't know, it's been like 40 some minutes or something, a long time, that you can use to empower yourself. Now, if you can't do it alone, then don't try to. Find some support from someone in this group. Find someone supporting your inner circle. Reach out to me and let's talk. Let's have a conversation about where you're at and what you need to be doing to make the next steps. I promise you, it's the best 45-minute conversation you'll ever have on your health, your fitness, your nutrition, getting back to you. All right, this is something that I've done for so long, like 16, 17 years now, and diving in and helping out you is one of the biggest things that I'm super excited about, and one of the main reasons why this whole group exists is to not do it alone, to have other supportive women there to lift you up, raise you up, have very strong new friendships created from empowered women that take advantage of all the training, the coaching that is available that we give to them. And so if some of these things, like, you're like, man, I know this stuff, but I'm just not doing it, or if I just am struggling, I've done it time and again, and I don't know how to break this habit, and you desperately want to, and you're committed, I can't tell you enough, you have to be committed to the process, then reach out. I'd love to talk to you a little bit and see how we could help you out. That's going to be it from me tonight. Hopefully you were able to get some really strong things from this. Go back, take some notes if you need to. Reach out, ask me some questions if you want. I'll be glad to answer them for you. And then I look forward to hanging out with you guys more here in the next week, and probably update you on some of my travels here, going through our Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota trip. So maybe share some nutrition struggles that I have while on the road for me personally. So, all right, I'm out. I'm tired. It's almost midnight. I still got like probably 45 minutes to an hour's worth of packing to do before we leave at 5 a.m. tomorrow. So I need to get to it. All right. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for hanging out with me. Good night.